Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want to follow more property educational content. I'm here on my client's site in Fleet in Hampshire, and we're going to go and do the site update tour that we do every month. Hope you like the changes. A lot of work gone on, a lot of ground floor drainage. It's going to be noisy today, so please bear with us. I've got my guys over here, so let's wander through the site. Chaps, you all ready? Let's get going. Let me show you around. So guys, as you can see today, danger working area, do not enter. Some substantial construction going on today. We've actually got major diggers in sight. We're actually very lucky to be working on the ground floor, and there's big roller shutters still on the building. So that has allowed us to get some heavy machinery in to get this job done a bit quicker. Now this, and I can't remember if I touched upon this in a previous video, we've had some issues with the ground floor slab. We did dig and have consultants in to look at the slab, dug a massive great hole. It was on one of the early update videos, and there was no extra reinforcement. However, as we've gone through the building, there are sections that are heavily reinforced with rebar or metal bar, which is kind of very thick metal bar, and that's halted and slowed down for a couple of weeks the digging of the drainage here. Now, it's not something that can't be made up, and they are promising us that the construction company that they will make it up, and we're monitoring that extremely carefully. We've got them to double up on the number of diggers this week, double the number of guys that are coming on site this week to get this part sorted, so then the ground floor walls can start to go up. So I don't know if you can zoom in here, guys, and have a close look, but you can appreciate the mess that is around this area. A lot of extra time delays, a lot of extra, stuff drafted in to get this problem solved. So I think, it's like with everything, nothing ever goes smoothly on a site. I'll warn you now, do not get into property development if you like an easy life and things to go smoothly. There's always a problem, it's just how do you overcome that problem. On this case, it's more men, bigger, stronger machinery, diamond cutting discs to cut through this stuff, so we make the guys' life easy to get through this and solve the problem. Jig some of the manpower on site to other areas of the site so that things can still keep moving, and also extremely good project planning. Our construction companies and our project managers have, what would be like a Microsoft project sheet where you have all the little lines joining. So there'll be a period of 3 months now that gets compressed up a little bit, more men on certain tasks going forward, so the hours can be made up. But we can't walk around this area. It is a particularly dangerous area of the site today, although we've got all the usual PP on. Too dangerous to walk around. We don't want to fall on a bit of sticking up rebar over there. So, specialist guys have been trained on this kind of work are working on site. So let's go and have a look upstairs where we'll see a bit more impacted work, and some of the walls hopefully have gone up this month. So we're up on the first floor now. As you can see, these are 2 flats we're standing in. This will be the communal hallway through here where the bin's in the way, of course, but it doesn't really matter. Oh, that's actually catching a bit of water from a roof that was cut up. Actually, if you can pan up, that hole in the roof is the huge section of roof we had to have cut out for fire testing. And I don't know if you can make it out on the camera. You can't really, but there is insulation in there as well. So what we've had to do is send that off for very advanced fire testing to understand the very specific fire properties of that entire construction makeup. That will then determine the fireproofing that's needed on the internals of the roof, whether it's extra fireboarding, extra fire insulation, whether there's a spray-on insulation. There's all sorts of different solutions that can be sought. So once we understand the capabilities of what's there already, we can hopefully do a reasonably light touch approach. At one point, the consultants, as they like to over-engineer everything tenfold, were suggesting there may be a new roof needed. Absolutely not needed. That's a bit of PI covering, unfortunately. You get that in the industry. Always got to watch out for every consultant, on project manager, on architect, on everyone involved, and then on the construction firm, adding in a little bit of a layer of protection for themselves and over-engineering everything. So by the time you get it as a client, it's been over-engineered 2 or 3 times. Now, we've learned that over the years, something to watch out for. Challenge your consultants, get second opinions, and speak to building control, obviously loop them in to see if these kind of suggestions are absolutely 100% required. So let's have a wander around and see how we're getting on elsewhere in the site. So we're up now on the first floor still, and as you can see, there's a lot of setting out work going on the ground floor. So we're actually starting to form a view of what this apartment's going to look like. We've got a door opening here, going into a bedroom where you guys are sat. You've got the bathroom in this area, so this will be a door into the bathroom for the apartment. And it's actually quite nice visually. For the first time ever, you're sort of able to stand on the site and get a feel for what you've been... Thanks, Tom. That was Tom. Anyway, keep rolling that. It'll be good content. So, Trip hazard, yeah. Tom, our project manager, just killed himself tripping over the exact thing I was talking about. And yeah, so in here's the bathroom, and for the first time on site, you're getting a feel for the layout of the building, something you've been designing and looking at and having consultants look at, and everyone engineer over the past months. Finally, you can stand in a bedroom and understand how the space might feel. And although the ceilings are going to come down in height, unfortunately, a bit due to cost implications of using the full height. This will be a lovely apartment, and it's really exciting to see it. So let's carry on around the walk. So now actually, very dark and dingy. Let me come down here a bit, chaps. So it's a bit dark and dingy down here, so apologise for the lighting, but as you can see, all the first fix electrical trays are all kind of going in through the corridors. The roof height will drop down below that. So you can see it's sort of a real shame. We do lose a lot of height in a building like this in certain areas, but we've made up for it in others where we've got the mezzanines. But as you can see, these trays are going in to run all the kind of first fix. So we're now starting in first fixing, which is great. Before the full boarding is done on these sides, elements are left open so that all the wires can be run through all the partitions. So we're at the kind of phase where we're getting the mechanical electrical side of things going, which is always an exciting place to be. So here's a corner flat. Let's go and have a look at one of these. Slightly quirky with the entrance, and actually, they feel a lot bigger than they do on paper. It's great. You come in, and as the walls go up, certain elements, this is kind of the reverse of what you might expect. As you put walls up and make the spaces smaller, the spaces feel bigger. It's a real bizarre thing, and the same goes with furnishing it. When we get to the stage of furnishing these apartments, you suddenly put beds, and you can see how it's going to be used, see how it's going to be lived in. That's when it really comes to light, and you sort of think, yeah, I could see myself living in this lovely high-spec two-bed apartment. So, I love this part of it. I'm hugely passionate about property. Absolutely love creating stuff and creating an excellent product for the end user, which will end up being either an end buyer, maybe a first-time buyer for these units in this area. They'll be priced at that kind of end of the market, or a professional tenant probably in here. So, I could definitely see myself living in one of these when they're finished, and it'll be interesting for you guys at home to see how it progresses and the kind of, the difference in the feel of a vibe. This just feels like an old warehousey office at the moment, but as the walls come in and things get made up, it gets more and more exciting as we go. So let's carry on around with the tour. So we're about halfway fixing these trays by the look of it around the other half of the building now. And it's just all the structure of those trays obviously been put in this side. So by this time in probably a week, the rest of the trays will be in and the wiring will start to go in, I imagine. So yeah, come and have a look at the mezzanines. Now we're at the point where these mezzanines have been boarded, the major construction's been done. Looks like they've been covered in fire protection paint. All of the bolts and structures all in place, and it's now a supporting structure. And actually underneath, if you can see this, for fire protection, there's 3 pieces of board under that to make it up, and there'll be extra boarding, of course, going under the underside of this. So there's quite substantial fire protection going in between all of the walls, acoustic protection going in between the plasterboard. But one thing when I started constructing slightly larger commercial to resi schemes was how much plasterboard is needed. It's unbelievable the amount that's needed. On most internal walls there's probably 2 either side, and then you've got all the insulation in the middle. Depending on the construction, depending on the fire regs and your fire risk assessment, your FRA, will determine in conjunction with the architect what kind of fireboarding and walls are needed. I think we ended up with where there was tens of different wall types on here, and our project manager Tom, whose beady little ear is listening in the background, has managed to get that down to a reasonable number of walls, which was one of the initial problems of this site. Over-engineering that I talked about earlier on in this video. Architect over-engineered the number of walls needed, and belt and braces approach again. So we actually engineered that back down to a sensible level that's still in line with building control standards, that's signed off by building control, and we've got a more viable development. So that's important to note. Carry on round. Let's go through here, guys. We can have a look back at the mezzanines. Hopefully next week we're going to be able to get up on the mezzanines. Next week, next month. we'll see. I mean, just looking back over here, we've got a clear view over the mezzanine. Actually, Tom's here with us. When are the stairs going in, Tom?
Well, the stairs are here on site.
Stairs are here actually on site, aren't they? I saw those.
So at the moment, I think what we're going to do is we're going to finish all the proprietary work around here to make sure they're not going to be subject to any damage.
Yeah.
But I'm expecting we're going any time now.
And they're in the middle, aren't they, from memory? Is that right?
There's one on there and there's one on the other side.
So yeah, that's going to be an exciting moment. I always get excited when we build mezzanines and you can stand up there for the first time and feel the space, because you've sort of had to engineer how far these walls go back, maximise the space up there. Of course, if you do a bigger mezzanine in terms of floor space, that's fantastic. There's huge cost implications. You know, you've got the structure of the mezzanine, there's the painting and decorating, the plastering, the plasterboard, the partition wall structure, the rock wall that goes within it, the structural engineers' calculations. There's a whole heap of things that happens, isn't there?
The ventilation.
Mechanical ventilation. Yeah, the roof structure, the windows, acoustics.
So the reason that there are different sorts of makeup is for acoustic performance,
yeah,
thermal performance, as well as fire.
As well as fire, yeah.
And we had 17 different sorts of makeup.
17,
wall,
was it?
Which
wow.
we reduced back down to 10. So.
Over engineering. One of my bugbears, but.
It's effectively taking an overly simplified view to something, where that is to say, the functionality of a particular type of wall will be acceptable to one or two different areas. It's not having individual makes up just for the acoustics where it's a problem, or individual just because it's thermal or indeed structural. So it's going through the plan in some detail to make sure that, as you quite rightly said, over-engineering just because that's what you've done previously. It's going through and checking wall by wall.
Checking wall by wall. So, you know, from a hallway into a bedroom, from a bedroom between another bedroom, between a bedroom and a kitchen, between a bathroom and a bedroom, or a bathroom and a kitchen. And it's all different, basically.
And that, of course, does differ depending whether it's new build.
Right, yeah, of course.
To be most highest and acceptable building regs.
Yep.
And in line with Grenfell, whatever the new post-Grenfell building regs are for fire, or what we're doing here, which is permitted development, which isn't obliged to satisfy all those.
Yeah, okay.
Those regs.
Thanks for hold that thought, Tom. We're going to come back to Tom in a minute when we've mic'd him up. He's not mic'd up. Hopefully you heard that at home. We just bumped into him on site. We're going to come back and let's talk about firewalls. I think it's a really important point, you know, to understand the differences there. Cover that in another video. So if you can squeeze through the wall here, chaps, let's go around and finish the site tour. One of the climbing mechanisms to get up high. And we're back round to the entrance hall. This is the entrance hall to the block, to the first floor. So we're back here. I guess, you know, might as well wrap up here. There's no point in going down the stairs. It's been good to show you around again. We've done the loop. We're going to continue this loop every month for the next, I think we're about 9 months away from completion roughly. So if you want to join the journey, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon. I want to keep showing you around this site. I want to keep showing you the intricacies, the nuances of building, construction, and hopefully you can do better in your own sites and make less mistakes. I'm here to help you if you'd like to get some mentoring from me, if you'd like me to work with you, or if you'd like indeed to JV with us on a site of your own, if you'd like some help. We work with people in all different kind of ways, from a consultancy basis right through to a full joint venture. Do reach out and contact us in the details below, nicholaswallwork.com/mentorship. If on the other hand you're a hands-off investor and you don't want to get involved in all of this, then come to us at Red Brick. We also offer investments into our company where we go and do all the hard work. We do these sites and we give excellent rates of return. So yeah, keen to hear from you. Please do comment. I'm really interested to hear your comments about your own projects and what you guys are up to at home. And indeed, if you've got any questions, fire them in the comments. I'll try and respond to as many as I can. And look forward to seeing you on another video very soon. Take care.